Hey, fantastic fans. Welcome to the Three Ladies Podcast. I am your host, YoYo. Here we talk about views that really matter. Click the like button, subscribe, and ring that bell. Never miss the life hacks of making your heart's desires happen. Here with me now is my girl, Keisha.
Yes, and we are here to talk about life's roller coaster ride. We bring it with wisdom, honesty, belly laughs, and a hefty dose of truth. Where's my girl, MC?
Oh, yes, I'm right here. Grab your snack and your favorite drink. I know I've got mine. And get comfy, because we're going to rock it each week with adventures of making it happen. Yeah, so hit that bell. Subscribe so you don't miss one juicy minute. So join us here now at the Three Ladies Podcast.
Hey, ladies.
Hello.
We are back again for another...
No singing.
Oh,
Okay. I was trying.
Come on.
Listen, I hate it. I hate
Hey,
it. Beyonce is going to call me.
No.
And
Okay.
you're going to be like, oh, yeah, remember she was flowing at the podcast?
She's gonna call Mary. She's not gonna call you. Mary's the singer.
Inspired.
Listen, she's going to call both of us. We're going to be back here like...
There you go.
Listen, I'm going to get the coffee. I'll be the assistant. You need coffee? What you need? Long as I'm there.
right. In the
God.
midst of it.
Right?
Listen, we had an improvisational guy. He couldn't sing a word, but you know what?
What?
He was funny as hell.
Really?
Well, it's the dynamics, you
Yeah,
know.
baby.
You gotta either sing or be funny or be rich.
loud.
Or loud too.
Or go get the coffee.
Or get the coffee.
You need an assistant?
Right.
Right?
Keisha,
I'll be like this.
where's my coffee?
Hey, what?
That's why it's important to have relationships.
Absolutely.
is.
Absolutely. And speaking about relationships, funny story. I had a friend of a friend who told me that she does not have any female friends.
Wow.
And the reason being because she felt women are catty. She's a female, but she
Right,
said she
right.
doesn't have any female friends, that she prefers male friends over female friends. And one thing I must say, I think that's such a detriment to yourself because you should have friends of both sexes,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Male
Of course.
and female. But that whole notion of not having female friends because women are catty, I mean, to some degree, there's some truth to it, but a lot of it is sometimes in our heads and the space where we're coming from. And I must say that I have a group of friends, a social group of ladies who I hang out with, and I call them my friends because we've been together for over 10 years.
Wow.
And I love these ladies. I love my friendships with Keisha. I love my friendship with MC.
Yeah.
Right.
But, I think we all have friends in different categories.
Of course.
Well, my
Right.
problem is that as COVID happened, almost all my friends moved out of the city.
Oh,
Yeah,
so-
I had a friend move to Tennessee and a friend moved to North Carolina, and then all my family lives in the South.
Mm.
So it's tough.
So
as you
making
get
friends as an
older.
adult, you're saying is
It's difficult.
it's
Like,
harder.
how do you do it? When all you're doing is going to work and coming home, and you kind of have your,
Mhm.
maybe your person
Mhm.
that you are
Right.
involved with, and your coworkers.
I think that's what it boils down to, having things in common.
Right. So that you can create those friendships.
Right. At work, you're going to have a little bit more in common.
Right.
You're there all day, probably doing some of the same things. So I think as an adult, making friends, I'm looking for people that I have things in common with.
Really.
Right. But I think also, isn't it like because you get older and you're more mature, there's certain things where when you were younger, you kind of like shied away from. Now is like, I feel as though making friends as an adult, you want more substance. You want people who are genuine and real, not the cattiness, not the fakeness.
Right.
You want somebody, like you said, maybe have things in common,
Right.
or people that you like to go out and just enjoy, travel with, or have dinner
Right.
with. Because there's those types of friends, right?
Yeah, I think, part of the problem is that I don't know, it's like, how do you feel comfortable kind of sharing things that either you're struggling with or you're
Mhm.
aspiring to,
Mhm.
or that you are, why do we have friends? We have friends so that we can, hang out, have a good
Mhm.
time,
Right.
or you have someone who can hear what you're saying
Mm-hmm.
and commiserate, or can, reflect on what you're saying and maybe support you in some ways in a deeper way. I mean, I remember when my husband was alive, he passed in 2015, I had a friend say to me, why are you staying married to him? Because he's had a multiple sclerosis. And, and I felt like, okay, that's a weird statement. And you have people who are struggling. If you suddenly share something that's, it's kind of life-changing. And I think as we get older, our lives change.
Right.
Our, children are growing up and moving away, and I don't have any children. And so it really is difficult to find a connection.
And trust.
Oh, yes.
I think for me, and I kind of can relate to your friend, when you've been hurt by some of your childhood friends, and then now you're an adult, you kind of like, I don't know who I can trust, because these are the people that used to come to my house and eat with me and sleep in the bed with me, and the friendship dissolved.
So how do you know when to sustain a friendship or when to let it go? Because I think my mom always tells me that, the tongue and teeth live in the same place, and they often fight. So
I love that.
Yeah. So you and me, I have a sister, we often fight, but I can't throw her away. And that's because, we're family. But with friendships, like I've had a friend just as long as I known Keisha, and I just kind of decided that I'm going to let it die, the relationship, just let it take its course, because we didn't see eye to eye anymore, and I didn't want to keep pretending and keep forcing it if it wasn't going to work out.
But is it hurt, or is it just didn't really have things in common? Like, I think for me, if you hurt me, I'm gonna shy away from you. But if it was just we're doing
argument,
two different things, it's something we could get over.
Life has happened, and you guys went on different paths.
So how do you?
I think it's like every friendship, you have to kind of like they ebb and flow, maybe. Sometimes what's happening in another person's life. I know I have a dear friend of mine I've known forever, and she's now a caregiver for her mom. Oh, and that's a big deal. And I think it's hard to know how to support a friend who's really going through a challenging moment. And I think sometimes the person who's going through that, it's hard for them to share what they're going through. So it is difficult, I think. And also for me, if you've gotten hurt, you got to take baby steps about trying to let that happen.
So like you said, if you got hurt, when do you know if this friendship is no good? Like, is there a degree of, okay, they crossed this line and that's it? Or we had a bad argument, and now that I look back, maybe I want to rekindle that friendship back again?
I think for me, that's what I do. I kind of weigh it out to see. I do have one friend, she did something to hurt me, but now I could think about it and say, you know what, Keisha, she's not a confrontational person, and that's why she handled the situation the way she handled it. So, charge it to the game, like give her a break. Like she's been a good friend. That one little thing, you're going to judge her off of that. So,
but sometimes I think what it is that if you are someone like we are, really aspiring to do big things, I always think, I think you mentioned it once, or that Gail and,
Oprah.
Gail and Oprah, and how they've both followed very distinctly different paths. And it's even like, anyone who's in a very, big life. Right. That sometimes it's like, how do you measure envy or jealous? Or that feeling of competitiveness if you're really aspiring big like we want. Right. And I think sometimes with some of my friends, because I do some things that are very different, it's hard for them to relate to me.
That's not your tribe.
Nope. And you have to kind of let it go. Yeah. I mean, you know what it is? It's like there's a certain level of friendship. Yes. Like you go out, you kind of have something fun to do. Yeah.
And maybe know who to call on that level.
Exactly. You just kind of go out and be silly, have some coffee. Right. Just something light, nothing heavy. Right. But for those really deep friendships, you kind of have
who else to call.
Exactly.
That's true.
Yeah. I guess that's that tongue and teeth thing.
Right.
Yes. And I think everybody should have that one person that you can pick up the phone, or, even if you don't pick up the phone, they haven't heard from you in a while, and like, I'm going to go visit her because I haven't heard from her in a while, and that's not like her. Right. Yeah. They know who you are, and they, you know, without even saying too much, they know how to respond to you. And
that's a friend
everybody,
I like.
I think if you have at least that one person, you're blessed.
I have this one friend.
Yeah.
I don't pick up the phone for weeks. She don't care.
Mm.
Boom, boom, boom. She knocks on the door. Girl, I've been calling you.
Right.
And she's not judging me.
Right.
Why you didn't pick up your phone? I'm not calling her since she didn't call me.
Yes.
She's like, listen, I've been trying to call you because I got to tell you some stuff.
Right.
And we just right back on it,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
So
And that's another thing to mention, that, you know, life happens to all of us. And sometimes we got to get it out of our own head. Like, oh, she didn't call me, so I'm not going to call her. And that person may be going through something.
Yes.
And you don't know. So, you know what? Have some grace.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you mentioned like maybe the friendship with Oprah and Gail. I'm trying to think of like people who, in my mind, who I emulate, and like I think to a large degree, I like the way I am with my mom and my sister.
Yeah.
Because I can talk freely with my mom.
Right.
And she's my go-to best friend.
Oh, that's
Right.
lucky.
You know, so and then my crazy sister, you know. As much as sometimes we'll get fired. She's like, bitch, so you can't pick up your phone. Right. So who you think you are? Princess Di, you know, Queen Elizabeth.
And see, that's where I'm at. I'm in the middle of being friends with you and then your younger sister.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's hard.
Right.
We have conversations
Right.
that I know you didn't have with her because
Yeah.
she's saying, I'm like, okay.
Right.
YoYo didn't say that to her. So now I have to balance these two friendships without lying
to both of us.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, you know, what is it? Sometimes for me, with, you know, some of my family, I don't have children. I don't own a house. I don't have a typical partner, you know, and, you know, having a younger partner, it's, they kind of don't know how to relate to me.
Right.
But I don't feel like they have to.
They don't.
You know, and so I just kind of, they're in that sister zone.
Right.
But when I really need to really bare my soul about something, I have to go somewhere else.
You do?
Yeah.
I do too. I don't have sisters. So I'm always like, dang, I wish I had a sister. Really? So I always, when I have a friend, you're my sister.
Well, it feels that way, right? It's because they really see you.
Exactly.
They really hear you.
Exactly.
So what do you think? So what do you think would be the strategy? Like somebody's probably sitting at home watching this podcast and thinking to myself, you know what? Now that I think about it, I don't even think I have a friend like that. Or, you know, I don't really have somebody who to talk to. Like, where would they start? Where would they begin? What suggestions would you give? Because I'm thinking to myself, like, as much as I like to go and travel by myself, I always meet people when I do. But I think for me, it's being receptive and being aware of your surroundings, because you never know what that conversation or that hello or that smile may lead to.
Yeah.
You know, I always try to be, you know, smile and say, hey, how you doing? You know, and you never know where that hi may lead to. It may lead to have another discussion.
Oh, yeah.
Like I went to a Christmas party and I met this woman who's part of this Red Hat Society.
Oh, wow.
And we just started talking. She's like, I'm going to invite you to one of my meetings because I like your spirit. And I'm not saying that we BFFs, but I'm just saying saying hello.
Right.
Just showing up.
I think that's the start of it. Go ahead.
With me, I know we became friends because here I was doing something new, stand up.
Yeah.
And I was scared. But, you know, I felt there was an immediate warmth.
Yeah.
So did someone introduce, your sister?
Yes.
So when you introduced, then y'all just started talking?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
We hit it off.
Yeah.
Really?
Because she was like, oh, I'm going to do a stand-up. I said, oh, I want to go see that.
Yes.
And that's the thing, coming out, not something that I would probably not go to stand-ups, even though I like comedy. But when she said she does stand-up, I said, I'll go see your show.
Yeah.
Right.
And then that's
wonderful.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so, you know, when you try something new, you know, I think that's where I found opportunities to meet different people, different backgrounds, to do something new and explore.
Right.
You know, like one of the things I'm thinking of doing, because I love to cook, they have I think they have a bagel making thing here in New York.
Really?
Yeah, they have some kind of a bagel making thing.
Oh, wow. And New York is probably famous for their bagels.
Yes. So they
especially
have
Brooklyn.
Yeah, I think they have it, and you can come and learn how to bake bagels.
Oh, I like that.
So that would be kind of fun to meet some new people and do things like that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking. You got to be open.
Yeah.
You have to be open to receive it. Don't judge, because you never know.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
And emulate the behavior you want to also receive.
Oh gosh.
So if you want a friend, be a friend.
Yeah.
You know,
I
so
like that.
sometimes picking up the phone call and just like, hey, how are you? It's been a long time since we talked.
What if you like an introvert? Because I think I'm a little bit of an introvert.
That's me.
And I don't like to burden people with my problems. Like
You
when I'm going
think
through
that
something,
way, I think
I
so.
close up because I'm like, you might be going through your stuff,
Right.
and I don't want to dump on you. So I'm like, let me just deal with my own. Like, how do you open up and say,
Get it out your head.
just get
Out your head. Because
Okay.
you're thinking that
Yeah.
you're a burden to someone.
That's what I
and
think.
you can be the blessing to someone.
Exactly. They could be,
Yeah.
you could share something that they connect to.
Right.
Okay.
And then you suddenly have this amazing connection.
Yes.
Right.
And really what's truly wonderful about friends
Right.
is that feeling of not being alone.
In
So I
this-
need to get out of my head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When
Okay.
you're
Yeah.
not alone anymore in something.
Yes.
I mean, so many people suffer from being alone.
Mm-hmm.
They're
true.
alone, even
My mom
afraid
always
to
tells
say.
me that's the number one killer,
It
loneliness.
is loneliness.
I
Yeah.
believe that.
Yeah, because you could be in a big crowd
Mm-hmm.
and not share yourself or
Right.
do anything.
Yes.
And guess what?
Mm-hmm.
You're lonely.
Yep.
That's true.
Yeah.
And
So-
COVID
Oh,
beat
COVID
down.
helped.
Yep.
Yeah, that was not a good thing.
That was
COVID
bad.
There was a
hard.
comedian talking about you talking about knowing yourself. Knowing yourself was COVID. Because you sat in the house, there was
Yes.
nobody coming to see you. You weren't going
I
out.
know.
And then you got to look at yourself in the mirror. Do you like yourself?
It's true.
So why would somebody like you?
It's true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is
So
true.
being cognizant of that. So
Wow.
I guess some of the takeaways, like I just said, was, be open and receptive, smile a lot. A smile will take you a long way.
Oh,
and it's
gosh.
very approachable.
Right.
Mhm.
If you got that mad bitch face all the time, people see you like, oh, they
They
should
kind
go.
of stay away.
Yeah, they don't want to be
Right.
bothered with you.
That's
yeah.
true.
So
Yes, some of the best conversations I've had have been in diners,
Mm.
talking to someone who is also alone
Mm.
and just having a fun chat.
That's happened to
And
me
you
too.
know what? That's true. Like
Just
when I
having a
walk
fun
into
chat
the
sometimes.
room with the patient
Yeah.
and I'm just talking and they say, Keisha, it's something different about you. And I'm like, what? It's just I'm
The
having a
energy.
the
The
energy.
energy.
I'm coming in
Mm-hmm.
and we just talking.
Yeah.
Treat
But
you
it
like
helps.
a human.
Yes.
It helps to share.
Right.
Yes.
It really does. When I
yes.
can share either something good or bad
Mhm.
or struggle.
Yes,
And I think
yes.
that's why it's so fun to
Mm.
come and meet with you guys.
Yes.
Mhm.
You know, it's that safe space.
We could
Yes.
sit and talk for
Oh,
hours.
That's it.
my
We'd be
goodness.
like,
That's it.
okay, it's time to get off now.
Oh,
wrap
yeah.
it up.
I
Yes.
think so.
Yes, absolutely.
That is
absolutely.
true. That is
Wow.
true.
So yeah, so absolutely. So one of the things that we want to impart, especially to the viewers who are watching this, is
Yes.
to get it out your mind, go out there and live life, because that's what life is about. It's about living.
Amen.
Mhm.
Like my mom says, once they put you in that box and put you in that ground, there's
That's
no
it.
do-over.
That's
Nope.
the truth.
There's no, let me come back. No,
Right,
no,
and
it's
And
done.
that.
you never know when that's going to happen.
Exactly.
You know,
Yes.
so you have to really strike when the hot iron is showing up.
That's
It's
it.
true.
That's it.
That's true.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And if you haven't spoken to somebody in a
You
long
better
time,
call them.
just pick up the
Call
phone
'em.
Amen.
and hello.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do better.
Yes.
I'm going to do better.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
And it's not that I'm just being a bitch.
No.
It's
Right.
just in my head.
Well,
That's what it is.
if you've been hurt,
And that's part of it too.
you
Okay.
know, that
Yes.
wound is still
It's
there.
still there.
Yes.
And so the trust is like, I don't know.
I know
But
what you mean.
You can
I
be
gotta work
cautious and
Yeah.
still be
I need
receptive.
to work on
You'll
it.
Yeah.
get there.
I am.
Yes.
I'm going to
Yes.
get there.
Yes.
Through the Three Ladies podcast.
All right.
Very good.
See
So
y'all next week.
next
huh?
week, indeed.
Definitely.
All right. If Beyonce don't call me first, okay.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna leave the Three Ladies podcast.
Thank you for tuning in. Hope you found some value in this episode.
What actions are you taking next week? Leave it in the comments.
See you next time at the Three Ladies podcast. And don't forget, like, share, and subscribe.